Have you ever found yourself utterly exhausted? Not physically, but emotionally and mentally. After spending time with someone, have you ever felt a quiet sense of dread when a particular person calls or sends a message, knowing it will inevitably lead to a request or a problem you're expected to solve? It's a subtle draining, isn't it? One that sneaks up on you, leaving you feeling less like yourself, less joyful, and sometimes even a little resentful. As we navigate our golden years, our time, energy, and peace of mind become more precious than ever. We've worked hard, raised families, contributed to society, and now, more than ever, we deserve to enjoy the fruits of our labor, to pursue our passions, and to simply exist without constant burden. Yet, many of us find ourselves entangled in situations, often with people we care about, where our kindness is mistaken for an endless resource, and our compassion is taken for granted. This quiet erosion of our well-being can chip away at the very fabric of our happiness, leaving us wondering where our joy went. But there's a secret, a profound truth, about who you choose to engage with and how you choose to give your invaluable time and energy after 60. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 types of people you might be helping right now, unknowingly, who are quietly sabotaging your peace and potentially ruining the very life you've worked so hard to build. This isn't about being unkind or selfish. It's about being wise and protecting your most valuable assets, your well-being, your peace, and your freedom. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you, a realization that could fundamentally change how you approach your relationships and your life moving forward. Let's gently open the door to understanding the first type of person who can quietly drain your life force after 60. And that's the constant victim, the perpetual energy drainer. You know this person, don't you? Their life seems to be an endless series of unfortunate events. And every conversation is a new chapter in their saga of woe. They are always in crisis, always needing a shoulder to cry on, always needing someone to lament to about how unfair life is to them. The moment you offer a solution, an idea, or even just a comforting word, it's met with a reason why it won't work, why it's too hard, or why someone else is to blame. There's no desire for a solution, only a desire for an audience and a sympathetic ear. Endlessly. They thrive on the attention and the empathy you offer, but they never truly absorb any advice or take steps to change their situation. They are emotional vampires, drawing from your well of compassion until it's dry, leaving you feeling utterly exhausted and heavy-hearted. Imagine for a moment, a bright morning, you've just enjoyed a peaceful cup of tea, perhaps read a few pages of a good book, and then your phone rings. It's them. Suddenly, your serene morning is filled with their latest misfortune, their latest complaint about a neighbor, a family member, or a societal injustice. You listen. You offer kind words. You suggest a different perspective, but it's like talking to a brick wall. 30 minutes later, you hang up, and that feeling of peace has vanished, replaced by a dull ache of emotional fatigue. You haven't physically exerted yourself, but your spirit feels worn thin. The real danger here, especially after 60, is that your emotional reserves aren't as bottomless as they once were. You need that energy for your own pursuits, for your genuine connections, for the joy of life itself. Consistently giving your emotional energy to someone who only takes and never replenishes, or even tries to help themselves, is like pouring water into a sieve. It's futile, and it depletes you. The key is to recognize this pattern. It's not your job to fix them, nor can you. Your kindness is a precious gift, and it should be given where it can truly make a difference, where there's a willingness to receive and to grow. One way to manage these interactions is to set firm but gentle boundaries. You can say, "I'm so sorry you're going through this, but I'm not able to offer advice on this particular issue right now." Or, "I can listen for a few minutes, but then I need to get to something else." Sometimes, simply changing the subject or expressing your own need to end the conversation can be enough. Remember, your peace is paramount. Now, let's turn our attention to the second type of person who can subtly undermine your well-being in your later years, The financially dependent or manipulative individual. This is often a family member, a distant relative, or even a longtime friend who has developed a habit of relying on you for financial assistance. Or worse, uses emotional manipulation to extract money or resources. These aren't emergency situations, not once-off desperate pleas, but a recurring pattern, a sense of entitlement that you are their personal bank. They might tell tales of woe, exaggerate their needs, or even make you feel guilty for having what they lack. They might promise to pay you back, but somehow the repayment never materializes, or it's always just around the corner. The danger here is multifaceted. Financially, it can chip away at your retirement savings, your nest egg, the security you've built for yourself, at a time when your income might be fixed, or your health expenses might be rising. Giving away your hard-earned money to someone who doesn't respect your resources is not just unwise, it's potentially catastrophic for your future independence. Beyond the financial toll, there's a deep emotional cost. You might feel immense pressure, guilt, or even resentment. You might worry about their well-being, but also feel used and taken advantage of. This can strain relationships to breaking point, leaving you feeling trapped and undervalued. Imagine you've planned a trip you've always dreamed of, or you're saving for a necessary home repair, and then the request comes, always urgent, always presented in a way that makes you feel like the only one who can help. You might dip into your savings, postpone your own plans, all while knowing, deep down, that this is likely a temporary fix, and this cycle will repeat. Protecting yourself from this type of person requires courage and clarity. It means establishing firm boundaries around your finances and understanding that no is a complete sentence. You are not obligated to financially support adult individuals who are capable of working or making different choices. It's not about being uncaring, but about recognizing that enabling dependency ultimately helps no one. You can offer guidance, connect them with resources, or suggest they seek professional financial advice. But you must safeguard your own financial security. Saying, "I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to help financially at this time," is a perfectly acceptable and necessary response. Your financial peace of mind is crucial for your overall well-being as you age, and letting it be quietly eroded by another person's poor financial habits or manipulative tactics is something you simply cannot afford. Now that we've gently explored the perpetual victim and the financially dependent individual, let's continue our journey through the other types of people who might be quietly jeopardizing your peaceful golden years. Continuing our exploration, the third type of person you might want to reconsider helping after 60 is the unsolicited advisor and constant critic. This individual has an opinion on everything you do, everything you say, and every decision you make, whether you ask for it or not. They often present their criticisms or advice as being for your own good, but it leaves you feeling undermined, judged, and less confident in your own choices. They might tell you how you should manage your money, how you should spend your time, who you should socialize with, or even what you should eat. Their words, though sometimes well-intentioned, chip away at your autonomy and your sense of self-worth. You've lived a full life, made countless decisions, and gained wisdom through experience. Yet this person treats you as if you're incapable of navigating your own existence. Imagine you've just decided to take up a new hobby, something you're excited about, perhaps learning a musical instrument or painting. You share your enthusiasm with this person, and instead of encouragement, you're met with, "Are you sure you have the time for that?" Or, "Don't you think you're a bit old to start something new like that?" Or, "You should really be focusing on your health instead." These comments, seemingly innocuous, can plant seeds of doubt, dampen your enthusiasm, and slowly erode your confidence in pursuing what brings you joy. The quiet ruin here isn't financial or overtly emotional. It's the slow poisoning of your spirit and your freedom to be authentically yourself. To navigate this, remember that you are the expert of your own life. You don't need anyone's permission or approval to live it as you see fit. When unsolicited advice is offered, a simple, "Thank you for your thoughts, I'll consider that," can be enough. Or even a polite, "I've got this covered," int, for critical remarks, You can try, "I'm comfortable with my decision," or "I wasn't asking for advice on that, but thank you." You have every right to protect your mental space from constant judgment and unsolicited opinions. Your golden years are for living authentically, not for conforming to someone else's idea of who you should be. Next, we encounter the fourth type, the gossip monger and negative influence. This person thrives on negativity, finds fault in everyone and everything, and loves to share the latest scandalous tidbit or complaint. Conversations with them often devolve into discussions about other people's flaws, misfortunes, or perceived wrongdoings. They might criticize mutual friends, lament the state of the world in the most dire terms, or simply bring a cloud of gloom wherever they go. While it might seem harmless to listen to a bit of gossip now and then, constantly being exposed to this level of negativity can significantly impact your own outlook and peace of mind. It saps your joy, breeds distrust, and can even make you feel anxious or depressed. Consider how you feel after spending an hour with someone who has done nothing but complain about their neighbors, criticize public figures, and recount every single negative news story they've heard. Do you feel uplifted, inspired, or do you feel heavy? Perhaps a little cynical and drained. Your emotional environment is just as important as your physical one. Surrounding yourself with constant negativity means you are essentially inviting that negativity into your own heart and mind. At this stage of life, cultivating peace and positivity is paramount. You have a choice in what you allow into your sphere. When you encounter the gossip monger, you can gently steer the conversation to a more positive topic. Ask about their own joyful experiences, or express your disinterest in discussing others. If the negativity persists, you have the right to excuse yourself from the conversation or limit your time with them. Your peace is too valuable to sacrifice for someone else's need to vent or criticize endlessly. The fifth type of person to be wary of is the self-centered or entitled individual. This person operates from a place where their needs and desires always come first, and they expect others, especially those they perceive as kinder or more capable, to cater to them. They rarely offer help or support in return, and reciprocity is not a concept they understand. When you do something for them, it's often met with a lack of genuine gratitude, or perhaps even an expectation that you will do more. They see your generosity as a given, not a gift. Think about a time you went out of your way to help someone, perhaps drove them to an appointment, ran an errand for them, or listened patiently to their problems for an extended period. And then, when you had a small need yourself, or simply wanted to share a joyous moment, they were nowhere to be found, or quickly turned the conversation back to themselves. This one-sided relationship can leave you feeling exploited, undervalued, and unseen. It's not just about the practical help you give. It's about the emotional investment you make into a relationship that gives nothing back. In your later years, fostering relationships that are reciprocal, genuine, and mutually supportive is vital for your well-being. To handle the self-centered individual, it's crucial to recognize that their behavior is about them, not about your worth. You can begin to say no to requests that feel overly demanding or unbalanced. You can gradually reduce your availability. It's not about being punitive, but about redirecting your valuable time and energy towards relationships that are truly enriching and balanced. You deserve relationships where you feel seen, appreciated, and valued, not just as a resource, but as a person. Moving on, the sixth type of person who can quietly ruin your life is the promise breaker and the unreliable individual. This person consistently lets you down. They might cancel plans at the last minute, forget important dates, fail to follow through on commitments, or simply not show up when they said they would. While occasional forgetfulness or unforeseen circumstances are understandable, for this type of person, it's a pattern of behavior that stems from a lack of respect for your time, your plans, and your emotional investment. Imagine you've planned a day out, perhaps a visit to a museum or a quiet lunch, looking forward to the company and the shared experience. You've cleared your schedule, perhaps even made reservations, only to receive a last-minute text or call, or worse, no communication at all, that they won't be coming. This isn't just about a missed opportunity. It's about the emotional letdown, the wasted anticipation, and the feeling that your time isn't as valuable as theirs. Repeated instances of unreliability can lead to a quiet erosion of trust, making you hesitant to make plans or rely on anyone, and breeding a sense of frustration and disappointment. Your time in your golden years is incredibly precious. It's a finite resource that you want to fill with joy, meaningful connections, and fulfilling activities, not wasted hours waiting or dealing with the fallout of someone else's unreliability. To protect yourself, it's wise to stop relying on them. Make backup plans, or simply choose not to include them in plans where their absence would cause significant disruption or emotional distress. You can also communicate directly, if appropriate, about the impact of their unreliability. But often, the most effective strategy is to adjust your expectations and structure your life so their actions have minimal impact on your peace. You deserve to be surrounded by people who respect your time and your commitments. Finally, we arrive at the seventh type of person who can quietly chip away at your peace after 60, the boundary violator. This individual struggles to respect your personal space, your decisions, your preferences, and your need for autonomy. They might drop by unannounced, call at inconvenient times, expecting you to always be available, push for personal information you're not comfortable sharing, or override your choices by insisting on their way. They might rationalize their behavior by saying they're just being friendly or trying to help, but their actions leave you feeling encroached upon, controlled, or disrespected. Think about the simple pleasure of a quiet afternoon at home, perhaps gardening or reading, and suddenly there's a knock at the door, an unexpected visitor who stays for hours, disrupting your plans and draining your energy, or a family member who constantly questions your financial decisions, even after you've clearly stated you've made your choice. These constant infringements, no matter how small, accumulate over time, leaving you feeling like your personal space and your life are not truly your own. At this stage of life, establishing and maintaining clear boundaries is fundamental to your well-being. It's about protecting your privacy, your time, and your right to make your own choices without interference. It's also about self-respect. Helping someone who consistently disregards your boundaries only teaches them that their boundary-crossing behavior is acceptable. To protect yourself, you must become adept at clearly and kindly stating your boundaries. This might mean saying, "I appreciate you stopping by, but this isn't a good time." Or, "I'm not discussing my finances." Or, "I'll be happy to meet you if we arrange it beforehand." It can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to asserting yourself. But it's a vital step towards reclaiming your peace and control over your own life. Remember, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, and that includes respecting each other's boundaries. So, we've walked through these 7 types of people who, with their constant needs, their financial entanglements, their endless criticisms, their relentless negativity, their self-serving nature, their unreliability, and their disregard for boundaries, can subtly and quietly chip away at your joy, your energy, your time, and your financial security. It's a gentle erosion, often so gradual that you might not even realize it's happening until you feel utterly depleted. This isn't about shutting out the world or becoming cynical in your golden years. Far from it. It's about becoming profoundly wise about where you invest your invaluable resources, your time, your energy, your peace of mind, and your money. You have spent a lifetime giving, caring, and contributing. Now, it is your turn to prioritize your own well-being. Remember, you are not being unkind or selfish by protecting yourself. You are being wise, discerning, and ultimately, you are modeling healthy boundaries for others. Your kindness is a precious commodity, and it should be offered where it is truly appreciated, where there is reciprocity, and where it genuinely helps, rather than enables. Your golden years should be a time of peace, joy, and fulfillment, a period where you can finally reap the rewards of a life well lived. Don't let the subtle actions of others quietly diminish this precious time. Be discerning with your compassion, be firm with your boundaries, and be utterly unapologetic in safeguarding your own happiness. This journey is about empowerment, about recognizing your worth, and about making conscious choices that align with the peaceful, joyful life you deserve. It's about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that protecting your own well-being is not a luxury, but a necessity for living your best life. Your peace, your time, your energy, these are non-negotiable. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this topic. Have you encountered any of these types of people? How have you learned to navigate these situations? Share your insights in the comments below, as your wisdom can genuinely help others in our wonderful community. If this video resonated with you and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, a like, as it truly helps our channel reach more people who might benefit from this message, and for more content designed to empower you to live your best life at every age. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Remember, you have the power to create a life filled with purpose, joy, and profound peace. Live your best life at every age.